Hello and welcome to this week's episode of They've Been Doing It All Day, Sir. When you thought Manly were the biggest circus in the NRL, along come the Dragons. Let's get stuck in.
How was your weekend, good sir?
Yeah, do you know what? I can't even remember what I did. I'm so tired nowadays. It feels like, I don't know, forever ago. What did I get up to? Thursday night, we had a few beers watching the Manly game.
Yep.
Friday, I don't think I did anything. Saturday, I think it was a quiet weekend. That could be a massive lie. I could have actually done something, but I genuinely can't remember. I know my son had soccer Saturday morning. We went out for a little celebratory meal, buying a house. That's what we did on Saturday. So we went out with my in-laws, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and just had a little meal. And then, didn't do much on Sunday. But you had an eventful weekend.
I did. I went to a wedding on Friday, which was absolutely beautiful. It was up in the Hunter, absolutely stunning venue. Food was good. Wine was incredible. Great day out. Had a nice little recovery on the Saturday as well. Couple of bottles of Peroni just to settle it all back down. And then my partner very kindly drove back. Which was quite a windy road up there, you know.
Yeah.
It reminded me a bit of Colin McRae.
Do you know, the only time I've ever been to the Hunter Valley was I was travelling in 2016 in Australia, and I was going for a Christmas light show. Good, decent drive out there. Got there and it's cancelled because there was a lightning storm in the area. So drove straight back. Brilliant. That's my only experience of the Hunter. So good to hear that your drive there and back was worth it.
It was wonderful. Very nice drive, other than it being quite windy. And then I had an Audi up my arse for a good 20 kilometres when I was driving there.
Yeah.
A little bit of straight. I backed off a little bit and he went flying past. To be fair, the cojones on the man to be driving around what he was around the speed. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
And then girls won the first game of the season.
Buzzing
on Sunday, so that was great as well.
Were you back in time for that? Oh yeah,
you were there. Came back Saturday. So no, that was brilliant. Great to see some of the stuff that we've been practicing actually transpire on the field, which was really good. They worked really hard to get there. It was like we went sort of, I think it was 12 foot 4 up, I think it was at half time. Or maybe even 16 4 at half time. They then brought it back to 16 all, and then once they made it to 16 all, we just went up the other end and scored.
Tight old finish,
which was brilliant. But no, other than that, pretty good.
Sounds like a good weekend. Well, over the weekend we got a few more subscribers, which was good. So we're one subscriber off of 150. So
Brilliant
if you're new
stuff.
around here and watching for the first time, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out, pushes us out to a new audience. But there's been a few rumblings in the NRL over the weekend, and I think it's a decision that shocked no one.
Yeah.
And that is Shane Flanagan being sacked from the Dragons. Interestingly, just before I came over here, I watched the press conference with the interim coach, and he said that after that loss that they had at the weekend, Flanagan just went in the dressing room and went, "I'm done. I can't be bothered with this anymore." So they said it was a mutual agreement. Yeah. Before I heard what that being said, I was a bit like, "No, it weren't." He got sacked, but worst start in the club's history. 11 straight losses. Like, you don't think of it too much because it's the start of this year. You just think of the 7-0
bounce of last
but
season.
But four from last year. Disappointing result at the weekend. Yeah. That's a Rabbitohs.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And look, it's one of the really frustrating thing is they create, like, even when we were down there, don't forget they had a couple of tries chalked off.
Yeah.
So they were creating the chances and whatnot. So there's a team within them, but they just can't get it over the line, and they just let the Rabbitohs run away with it at the weekend.
They didn't help that Val Holmes was making some business decisions as well.
When you got Latrell running at you with a 7-8 meter run up, like, fair enough. With Origin around the corner, well, you suppose you want to put your best foot forward, don't you, for Origin? But no, it's like you say, no surprise. I was hearing Koula Matangi's going there next year as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's signed, and he came out and said that, "Don't worry, Dragons fans, I'm not gonna neg on my agreement, and I'm definitely coming." So there's a few rumours flying around that he was going to back off and not bother coming, but from everything that's being said and the press conference yesterday, it feels like it is an actual circus there. Like genuinely, I thought the situation at Manly was a circus, but that seems a lot worse. Like you got Braith and Nasta coming out and saying that the chairman was taking shots at him and about the media. You got apparently training had to be cancelled or was potentially going to be postponed on Monday because they hadn't decided who the interim was or it hadn't been agreed. They didn't know who it was going to be, and then eventually it got sorted like 6 hours later. Whereas at least with Manly's, I reckon it was done before. It was Seabold, you're gone. Foreign's in at 9 a.m. the next day. But one of the things that that was mentioned in this interview with Dean Young, is that his name? Dean Young, Dean Young. He said some of the great things about being a coach is giving people their debut. And one of the first things he did was got the phone call to say that he's going to be interim. And then it's Cade Reed, isn't it? The young kid that's coming in to start. Yeah, went round his house and told him that he was starting, which means that Kyle Flanagan, bang, immediately done.
Well, that's quite a... You didn't see that at Manly, any real big changes. But it was coming.
Yeah.
I remember when we were down at the watching the game, my mate texted me that meme of when Turbo went past Flanagan, and it was the Michael Owen against the 13-year-old, and it was like well done, he's 13, and it was he changed it brilliantly to well done, it's just Carl Flanagan, and it did make me chuckle, but that he's just not brought anything this season, unfortunately, defensively and in attack, and it probably, like you say, is the right move.
It is. They didn't help that they come out against on fire Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah, that boy was ridiculous.
Geezer scored 4. Like they were in the game. It was tight at half time. I think they were actually winning. Yeah, they were 12-6 up at half time. And then the Rabbitohs just in the second half sprung away. Latrell Mitchell was like a men against boys out there. Like he was, I think there was 4 players around him at one time and he just went over. But the worrying sign for them is that these players that have said they wanted out, like Jaden Sewell already has signed with the Eels. And can I say, by the way, his red card that he got on, what was it, Sunday? The ref let the game play on, right? And then it got blown in after. And it might be one of the cleanest shots on the chin I think I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think anyone's got any questions about that being a red card. That is pure shoulder to chin.
Oh, it was bad.
That is a red card in any sport. So
it's on par with like genuinely Suoliti at Origin, but just he didn't leave his feet. But obviously Sua's off next year to the Eels. Then you got Pacific Tonga that wants to go, who's a promising Australian under 20s, or New South Wales under 20s representative. Val Holmes looks terrible. Like you got aging Cook, Gutherson. Well. I don't know. It just feels like it doesn't feel like Manly's situation where
it feels like Sloan looks quite worried at the back as well. He doesn't look too secure. But you've got to say, do these boys then start right? Who comes in? Do I change? Because you can see them. There's clearly, like you say, interior problems for them to want to leave. So is it because of the change then they're going to be like, right, okay, I may now stick around and see what happens. But flipping onto the Rabbitohs, yes, Mitchell had a great game, but I love a comeback story. And Matt Duffy had an absolute game and a half.
He did.
He's come back. He's not played in 4 years, I think it is, in the NRL. Comes back, replaces Jai Gray, who's been in fantastic form this season. There was a couple of worrying signs at the start, but that man just wanted the ball constantly. He hit 330 metres.
That's mad. I didn't realise it was that much.
It was ridiculous.
Jai Gray wouldn't even got that much.
Nah. And it was great. He got his try. but a hell of a performance. And now he's coming with that. Can he now maintain it just for the while Joe's out? And what I do like, and what I've heard a lot of the pundits say, is that they've left Mitchell at centre.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he's most dangerous.
It is. There was the shots taken at him by Paul Kent, I think, about not being fit, not being this, not being that to play at fullback. And I do somewhat agree with it, right? Like, I think he is more dangerous in a centre position where he's got one job, and that is to lock down one side of the field and then just truck anyone in his way. And when he gets the ball at pace or when he needs to produce some magic, he can do it. But it's an interesting one for the Dragons because I feel that a lot of this stems from getting rid of Lomax.
Yeah.
Like, he was always a worry. Like, no matter who was kicking the ball up in the corner or anything, he was always a worry. And they got rid of him, or he threw his toys out the pram. But there was no authority to go, no, you're staying. And then also getting rid of Ben Hunt as well. Although Flanagan wanted him gone, it's like he would have provided that leadership and maturity to a team that have lost their way. But do we think we're going to see an immediate bounce back for this weekend against the Roosters?
I don't know. It's one of those that you do want that sort of fairy tale of they get their first win and Shane Flanagan's there pulling his hair out. And coming up against the Roosters team who still are just very hit and miss.
They are.
But it's if the Dragons end up starting like they do, but being able to maintain that, I reckon the Roosters will struggle.
It would be interesting to see.
It's big ifs and buts.
It is. But let's have a go. Let's look through their fixtures from now until I'm going to go to the end of the season.
Okay.
And let's see if we can see where their next victory is coming from. So this week they got the Roosters.
Yep.
I don't think they win that, if I'm honest. Then they got a guaranteed 2 points.
Yep.
Against the bye. They got the Knights. Can't see them. Maybe if the Knights, see how they're lining up. Panthers, no. Warriors, no. Broncos, no. Sharks, no.
You never know.
Some of it's round Origin. Some of this is around Origin, but I still wouldn't. So the Panthers, I wouldn't see them, and Broncos are down to like bare bones at the moment.
They're still performing extremely
They're still performing. Then they've got another bye. Then they play the Knights. We'll see. Raiders, no. Tigers, no. Then another bye. Warriors, no. The genuine first game that I think. So we're talking 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. In 14 game weeks' time is the Titans.
Yeah.
That is their only option at the moment, I think, where they can go, we're not the underdog in this. Even though at the moment, like, don't get me wrong, they can turn it around, but it goes Titans, Dolphins, we'll see how they go. So, but I'm going to say no to that. Sharks, no. Tigers, no. Bulldogs, no. Manly, no. Eels, no. I think there's a possibility that they only finish with one victory at the end of the season.
That's a bold claim.
So the odds of them actually not winning a game have been slashed from like $21 to $12 or something like that.
Oh wow, that is.
So
bold.
It's not only me that thinks that they're not going to win a game, but look, interesting to see what's going to happen. See how they bounce back this weekend. New number 7 in. See how they go against the Roosters.
Yeah.
But let's talk about who we think might have. Like, we're getting to the point in the season where.
You're starting to see because what my dad always says, especially about football, is you can never judge a team until like 6 games in. 6 games is always that magic number, and we're around that now. And you can start seeing where teams are going to be. But yeah, it's we're getting to that point, like you say.
So who do you think then? Going through some of the games over the weekend, we'll look at some teams and discuss like where we think they're at. And let's start. There's only one place that I feel we can start because this team, all right, they had a slip up last week against the Bulldogs, and all right, they only won in Golden Point against the Dolphins. But Panthers seem to be the team to beat at the moment. They seem to be the ones that are charging on to the title. This Dolphins game, I was like 18-0 up. Do you know what? I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. Can't be bothered with the rest of this. And then I check on NRL.com and I see it's 22 all.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe it. But Milky Jenkins again, another double. What's he on? He's on for 54 tries or something this year if it carries on. But here's a question for you. Take him out the Penrith system. How does he do?
I don't think he does as well. Don't get me wrong. He's scored some good tries in not the easiest positions, but I don't think he has that X. He's not an X factor winger. He's not your Xavier Coates. He's not your Zach Lomax.
Although that leap that he went up for, there's a film called White Men Can't Jump, right? And
he is the milkiest.
He is the whitest of white men, and I did not expect him to leap as high as he did.
Well, when you're on form and everything goes your way, doesn't it? I don't think he converts as much as he does.
Yeah.
I do think he is a product of a fantastic system, and he fits into that system well. Hence why he's doing so well.
Yeah.
But you can say that a lot about a lot of the Penrith players, and we've seen it. Like Nathan Cleary, goated as one of the one of the best halves to play the game.
Stick a
in Origin
Blues jumper on him, and he's questionable.
Yeah, especially in the arena, and this is something that we've constantly talked about. And so I'm gonna lean more to no on that.
Yeah, Panthers lost Mitch Kenny as well. Broke his leg from a hip drop.
That
like
didn't look great.
Nicarima. It was one of those ones that he's not intentionally done it. He's got dragged along. So he's going to be out. I don't know whether it's season ending. I think it might be 12 weeks, but decent little break, especially being that far away from home in Darwin as well, having to go to hospital and get it
He would have enjoyed that rain whistle.
He would have done, but Lussick comes in, who performed really well the other week. So it's like they've got the backup there. But I don't know. Panthers just seem to me like they're the team that are on the charge at the moment.
There are sort of some chinks starting to show in their armour.
They've come closer to the pack. Like those first 5 rounds, they were unstoppable. I was like, well, you might as well give them the title now. Slight little, I think a bit of ego maybe against the Bulldogs, thinking we're just going to roll over. And then I personally think the conditions in Darwin just took the heat, sapped it out of everyone. If you lose a man through injury as well, you've lost one interchange. So I don't know, but Dolphins did well to come back into it.
Yeah, extremely well.
But the Broncos and Tigers, next 2 teams over the weekend, I think will roll out of the weekend like both happy with the result.
I would be... The Broncos, I think it just shows... They were incredibly defensive, incredible in that defensive performance.
With who they've got as well,
it was just incredible to watch. If I'm a Tigers fan, there is a skepticism and there is a little bit of worry that will probably creep in with the amount of ball they had. They looked lost. There was times when they were 10 meters out. Terrell May was receiving the ball standing still.
He was on a charge as well.
And it just looked a little bit broken. And with the amount of possession they had, they should have been able to carve up the Broncos. So this is, when I was sat watching the game, for me it was, is this an incredible defensive performance? Or is this the Tigers showing that they are vulnerable? They've played one other really top team at the moment in the Warriors and beat them 32-14.
Interesting. It's a game that Luai has come back as well in. Like, does his dancing around and theatrics and trickery cause a bit of...
The other team that you can say are on a bit of a pants that they lost to was the Rabbitohs.
Yeah.
So out of three games, well, to be fair, they put 42 past the Knights, but out of 3 games against sort of the teams that are emerging as top teams, they've lost 2 and won 1. I'm just being a little bit of a pessimist with here.
I think, look, what didn't help them is Macassini dropped two errors, which I think if he holds them more possession, then potentially getting them into better attacking positions. But I do think, like with Luai being out for the last however many weeks, it's been 3.
Yeah,
Madden just provided that stability of ball through hands, little dummy here, rather than running around all over the place. I just think they've got to get used to him again into that system. Yeah. And then the Kai Pearce-Paws, the Terrell May was... I said, he was running with an absolute agenda to run through. I think Payne Haas, like, try and get him something on him. But also Taylor May coming back is a big one for them in the centres.
He had a good game. He had a very good game. He was trying to do everything. And again, this is it. I think they could have too many that were just trying to prove a point. And a little bit of game management as well crept in. It's like it was 21-20. I think they were about 15, 20 metres out. And they went for it on 5th tackle instead of going, right, let's go for the point here.
Oh, yeah, because then you've got the experience of Adam Reynolds, the other side, that's just gone 7 minutes to go, or wherever it was. Let's just get the one in front.
I'm 5 metres out. I'm not missing this.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there's a little things that I sort of saw that I wouldn't say are red, like alerts, but things that they need to to deal with to help them maintain in their season.
Big talking point from the game though. Big Payne Haas out for 6 to 8 weeks. MCL, which means he misses Origin. Paddy Carrigan's still out for 1 round. And then also, what's the name of their other prop? I've forgotten his name. But he had a blood clot in his lung. Oh, so he's out as well. But interestingly, saw a stat, like everyone's moaning about the injuries. We'll talk about Turbo in a bit. There's been a few ankle injuries, been a few knee injuries. Injuries are actually down for the season compared to the past 2 seasons. So the 6 again rule, people talking about fatigue, I'm starting to not like this new 6 again rule. And that's a conversation maybe we can have further down the road. But it isn't having an impact on player fatigue and injuries, which is good. But another team that is starting to look good is the Warriors. They just continue. I know it's
they clicked back in, didn't they?
Like we could talk about the Titans, and they absolutely tore them apart in the first half. But at home, they look like a different beast.
They are. They've gone along sort of nicely, other than the sort of the back-to-back losses to the Tigers and Sharks. They've come back with an absolute drumming of the storm, and then a good enough performance against the Titans.
Yeah. Interesting one from this game, actually, that I was speaking about earlier with a colleague. So, a bit of a situational one. 2 of our Sachet kicked the ball through.
Yep.
And it bounced out, went out the back. But Keanu Kinney was standing on the back of the goal, and Mitch Barnett came through, shoved him in the back, right? Got a penalty. So, this is where the kicking in league just confuses me. So, if the ball would have gone out, 7 tackle sets starting on the 20, right? But because they got the penalty, they got a penalty from the goal line, kicked it to the 20, right? So
why?
They've actually just given them, so they've lost the tackle for the same thing. Why not boot it as far as you can go? Because you would have made at least, let's say, 8-9 meters on that 0 tackle from the 7 tackle set.
Try and at least clear it past 30.
And they've actually made negative amount of yards. I didn't get it. It blew me away when I done it. I don't know whether it's like heat at the moment or whether they didn't think it through, but it's just like you've lost yourself a tackle there. Silly decision. But yeah, Warriors, I think they're going to be there or thereabouts end of the year. See how they go. Their ups and downs. But let's get on to the people. What did I start this section off with? Talking about teams that have kind of gained a bit of legitimacy or starting to prove themselves. Let's talk about Manly's rising stock here.
This game was such a talking about the Broncos' defensive performance. This was a solid defensive performance.
It was
something that again you can go back to. You can go back to the weather affecting the game up in Darwin. You can tell the boys were not in a good way during this.
Few mistakes.
You could both teams dropping the ball so much. Like there must have been a fair bit of moisture on that ball. But Koula pulling off 2 try-saving tackles.
I'm going to say that already. It's up there with contender attacker of the season.
That second one was just he absolutely bodied him into.
It's like touch. He hit a brick wall. Yeah. And then just carried him over the line as well.
It was the aggressor as well, which is the main thing.
I don't think Turbo makes that tackle.
I don't either.
I don't think Turbo makes that tackle, which is bonkers.
Which is bonkers from a Turbo a couple of years ago. But Koula now going to fullback. Only thing I worry about is a bit of an air raid. That's the only thing I worry about. Everything else, he's exciting. Like so much more ball in his hands, he's going to be able to carve something up.
Left and right.
Before Seabow got sacked, he was probably one of the only bright sparks within that team.
Can you remember this play from last year against the Panthers? I don't know whether you were there for it or whether you were away.
Yeah, Panthers away.
Where he came back underneath from centre. We're going to be seeing that week in, week out now. He's going to be looping underneath just off a ball dropped off.
I think they tried it in one of the other games
this
year, but it didn't come off. But no, he's going to be exciting to watch. Defensively, it is again a bit shaky when Jake seems to go off. The middle just seems to just disintegrate, which is a bit of a worry. But no, it's positive. It's positive signs.
Fogarty and Brooks are starting to look better together as well. And do you know what? It was great that when Fogarty dinked that ball through, just picks it up, offloads it to Brooks, and he's there. So they're starting to click again. Fogarty had serious kicking meters, high ball. Seems like the kick pressure's a bit better.
Yeah.
Obviously the conditions. But I read something the other day that Joey Walsh, Rugby Australia, are sniffing around him because of like Zach Lomax scoring his first try. So it'd be interesting to see if anything materialises from that, and also if he's rushed then into getting more NRL minutes. But one of the big things I'm starting to think though is are we getting a bit ahead of ourselves?
Probably, yeah.
We've beaten a Dolphins side that we thought were going to be great, and they weren't. We've then struggled somewhat against the Dragons, who are terrible. And then we've towed up a Cowboys side who, I don't know why. They had 4 wins in a row prior to that, but they weren't tipped to do much this season. So I don't know. Does it feel like we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves?
100%. But that's what sport's for. You're supposed to enjoy the good times.
It is indeed. And this week we're off to, what is it, Foz Pines Park. There we go.
Foz Pines Park, love it.
But another team that, do you know what? Storm are on an absolute downfall at the moment. We'll talk about them in a sec. But the Raiders, I think they just outmuscled, just turned them over. Come from behind win. That moment in the first half where they're leading the game, and what is it? Horsburgh has the ball, goes over, plays the ball, and just shouts something at the ref. Can't even remember what it was. Probably what the fuck was that, or something like that. And then bang, turns it, and they score 2 tries within. If that would have cost them the game, I reckon Sticky Ricky's absolutely losing his shit more than he did. He just had a little quiet word with him at half time. But if they would have lost that game, I think he would have absolutely lost it.
But he's always got that about him, though, Horsburgh, isn't he? It's there. It's showing. He needs to cut that out, and ref sort of picked it up and went, no, thank you. So
no, but great win for them. But I think the focus more on this one is about the Storm, which we'll get on in a minute. But did not see that this next result coming. Eels absolutely turning over the Bulldogs. Where has that come from?
I think this says more about the Bulldogs than the Eels. I don't think the Bulldogs are in a very good place at the moment.
They're not. I saw some stats that the Bulldogs, which I'll get onto in a bit, they have got the 3rd best defence in the league, but their attack is woeful. It's only the Dragons that are worse than them.
No point keeping out the points if you can't score them yourself.
Yeah, and I think they've conceded 131, but they've only scored 121 or something like that. Now, I remember early on in the season, we were talking about, I think 4 games in, it was only 15 a game that they scored. Yeah. But they're not in a good place. But the Eels were on fire in this one. Mitch Moses' kicking game was sensational.
Across the whole back as well. Like Adu Carr had a game. Like, he did. He was bodying everyone into the into touch. So I was listening to this mainly on my way back from the game on Sunday, and it just everything that the Eels did was just brilliant.
And considering how many injuries they've got as well.
Yeah,
they got a few more. I think Volkman is gone. He had either jaw or head injury. So we'll get on to the tips in a minute, because obviously they're coming up against the mighty Manly Seagulls this weekend. At Foz Pines Park. But yeah, I couldn't believe that performance. It's almost like Mitch Moses had the ref in his back pocket as well. I don't know if you've seen this, but
this is what I talk about. Like, captains need to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I always prided myself on whenever I was a captain of a team was I would be so friendly. I would be constantly in the ears of referees, having conversations. And it just works so much better. You need to be able to build relationships with referees as a captain, because things will go your way. And there's no point screaming and shouting at the referees. It's having little conversations. And
we gave him a little bit of water at the end. After he got the penalty, it's like, there you go.
I love it. That's what it's all about. Get him, ask him when there's a stoppage. When sir, do you want some water?
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was once I was playing a game of rugby. This was before I moved over, and like we were full. There were some old boys in there who were dirty as out, and the ref was just constantly on us, and their captain was losing it, and we both get pulled in, and he's like, Chris, I've had a word, like need to stop it. He's like, yeah, they're old boys, are stamping on us. And I was like, no, they're not. They're just finding their foot, and have you seen how muddy it is on here? And sir, I'm so sorry for that. I do apologise on the behalf of my team.
Little did they know there was stud marks all down their back.
100%, they were dirty players. But it's just being able to build a rapport with the refs, and I think that's something that Turbo misses.
Well, Jake's captain this weekend as well. So
it would be interesting to see how Jake goes about it. But that's the biggest thing I think for captains. They need to have that rapport. And
it seemed like for me, Moses didn't have that fed up feel about him.
No,
like,
he looked.
It was a good performance, and they got behind him. But last team that I think is starting to prove themselves a bit more, those Roosters. It was a very back and forward game, but they just in the second half managed to peel away. Savala in the centres looked not too bad. Big, long, lanky centre that can run onto a ball. But I just think they're so unpredictable. The Cherry Evans experiment is kind of going all right. it's not.
It's not something the world alike.
Do the Roosters look any different to what they did last year?
Not really, no.
And this is the thing, like they brought him in to add some experience. And they had Sandon Smith, who was obviously on the opposite side of the ball in this game, who played all right. I just don't think Cherry Evans is offering that much at the moment. Like as the season goes on,
you'll start seeing that coming through.
Could be a different story. And the Knights, they'll be disappointed with this one. But I think they've got to wait till Ponga comes back when they're at full. Like it was Dylan Brown's first game back.
Also, I don't think was Brendan best thing.
No, injured.
One, so he's still to come back.
True.
Old Dommy Young had a bit of a quiet game as well.
Yeah,
which was
maybe coming up against the old boy, like the team that he didn't quite gel at.
But also, he's coming up against two wingers who cancel him out.
Yeah, I think they're the best wing combination in the game.
Yeah, they've got the best back three. I say that they've got the best back three combination.
The size of them as well, like they're enormous. They're thick-bodied. They're just big individuals.
And you've got Teddy there who's just orchestrating it. I think is the best back three combination in the league.
Yeah, I agree. But on the flip of that, so we got some teams that did impress and we got some teams that didn't impress. Like you said, we're 6 games through the season. We're nearly a quarter of the games that you actually play through the season. And there are some teams that are appearing
not so good. Teams that might be a bit concerned. The Storm, the first one. I can't believe that they've lost 5 games in a row. And I read something actually earlier that Munster, I think it was Munster, has reached out to Isaiah Yeo to ask how Panthers address their form last year because he doesn't ever want to lose 5 in a row again in his career. I don't like how that's been leaked.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's
who's leaked
Queensland,
New
South Wales, Storm, Panthers. Like, there's a lot of rivalry there.
Who's leaked that though?
I don't know.
Had to come from one of the,
journos nowadays. They just get in any business.
I don't like that.
But yeah, Storm, very, very interesting. But the other team that I think are also on the struggle are the Bulldogs. I tipped the Storm and Bulldogs 7th and 8th. And I just had a feeling that the Bulldogs wouldn't be able to keep up their form of last year. The Galvin experiment, I don't know whether it's working. Like, he is a talented young individual, but maybe too young to have taken the reins, and like Toby Sexton probably could have stayed around for a year or two more just to allow him to get more minutes, more feel of the system. But their attack is awful.
Yeah,
their attack is absolutely terrible. As well, who knows what's going on behind the scenes with what's going on with Bronson Sherry, because at the weekend he was probably the best player on the park.
Easily
for the Bulldogs.
Easily. And when you shut down the little pop off to Preston from Galvin, they just don't seem to have anything else.
And if the Bulldogs didn't score those last, what was it? I think it was back and forward in the last 10 minutes. They could have got blown away in this one. But Cowboys, again, another team that started to show some promise, but they've just lost it.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, is it one of those that Manly just had a strong defensive performance and errors shot them in the foot and they will come good? They're on the border for me. They're on the border of having a really bad season or having a decent season, and it's a bit. We shut Jason Taumalolo up. Actually, we shut their forwards up, and he's been carving up over the last few weeks. Yeah,
is that one of those things where he's not able to sustain it for week on week? But it's interesting to see how that one goes. And the last team that we haven't really said a little bit about, but Titans. It's
hit and miss.
I don't know whether they're too good for Spoon. The Spoon.
Is there going to be just something that they just spark and then absolutely fly out of nowhere?
Good late surge against. It shows though their late surge against the Warriors. Yeah. They've got the ability in there. I think one of them they went back-to-back tries as well, and long range efforts. They got speed. They got pace. They got some creativity in there. Maybe it will click. But quarter way through the season, who do we think is going to make the top 4?
I'm going to go for Panthers and Wars.
Yeah,
are going to be in there. I think depending on what happens with injuries, I don't think you can count the Broncos out. I think they're going to have a late surge and sneak in, and then it could be your Roosters, could be your Tigers, could be your Manly, like out of nowhere.
Oof.
Sharks, I think their inconsistency kills them.
Yeah.
But I'll go with the Bunnies. Have I already said the Bunnies?
No, you haven't. That's an interesting one, actually. I'm going to go Panthers. I think Panthers, Warriors. I think Warriors don't finish second, though. I think they finish fourth. It's difficult. There's no one else that's really standing out from those. I reckon the Sharks do sneak in the top four.
There's a pack starting to form.
I'm going to put it out there that I reckon the Tigers might sneak in. They might just make the four. It all depends how they go. If they lose any players to Origin, which Luai will probably go, does now that Payne Huss is out, does Terrell May go?
Yeah.
Don't know. It'd be interesting to see. But here's another one as well then. Next coach in the firing line for the season. Who's heads on the chopping block next?
I don't know, actually. There's not anyone that's really...
Todd Payton a little bit.
Could be Bells.
I don't think he'll never get sacked. He'll never get fired. But I think it might be it's my time to leave the game and leave a head coaching role at the end of the season. And he might become like a head of football, director of football somewhere. The other one that I was thinking as well, if it doesn't go too well, Trent Robinson could potentially, because he's a lot of risks being taken with signing DCE, and if it doesn't pay off, if they don't get to I'm guessing grand finals, the aim for them, then
100%.
Who knows? But let's get into tips for round 8. We're into the Anzac weekend round, long weekend, absolutely buzzing. Can't wait. We've got a big one on Saturday as well. Looking forward to celebrating, having a few beers on that one. But kicks off on Thursday night. We're at Leichhardt Oval. I'm sure it will be pumping on Thursday night. The $1.57 West Tigers against the $2.41 Canberra Raiders.
I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be quite a close game. But I do think the Tigers in front of their Leichhardt Oval will just get over the line.
I'm going to go the opposite.
Yeah, you're going to go Raiders.
I'm going to go for the Raiders. I think the Raiders are on a bit of a bounce. They've had a couple of tough games that they've pulled through. And I think the Raiders are going to get this one done. And
then we are into the first game on the Friday, 6 o'clock kickoff at the Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. We've got the Cowboys at $2.12 against the Sharks at $1.73.
Jeremiah Nanai's back for this one. Reed Marnie's back for this one.
Sharks have just come off the bye.
I think the Sharks are going to win this. I'm going to go 2 away wins to kick off the round. Who you got? Tough one.
I'm going to go Cowboys. I'm going to go 2 home wins. To be different.
Yeah, fair enough.
To be different.
And then the 8 p.m. kickoff, we're at the Suncorp. We got the Broncos, $2.48 against the Bulldogs, $1.54. Who's out in this one? There's got to be a few. Oh, of course.
Payne Huss.
Corey Jensen. Why couldn't I think of his name? He was the geezer that had the blood clot in his lung. I think this is tighter than these odds.
Just because the Dogs aren't scoring and the Broncos can defend. I'm going to go Broncos.
I'm going to join you because I think the Broncos have been playing with a depleted squad and they've been playing all right.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bulldogs just look, I don't know, a bit all over the place.
Adam Reynolds makes a huge difference.
He does. It's just whether his groin, hamstring or whatever makes it through.
Yeah. And then we're on to the first kickoff on the Saturday at the Allianz Stadium in Sydney, but it's a home game for the Dragons. But this is the Anzac.
This is the Anzac Day one.
This is the Anzac Day. We've got the Dragons at $4.95 against the Roosters at $1.18.
Is there going to be a bounce back? No. The Sydney Roosters are winning this game.
Do you know what?
No. Don't say it.
I am. I think there's going to be a resurgence.
There's going to be some bounce back ability.
There's going to be and to do it against the team. If there was going to be a team to do it against, I think the Roosters is probably one of those teams.
Fair enough.
I'm going to probably be sat here next week with egg on my face. But do you know what? I'm going to go rogue and I'm going to go for the Dragons.
Fair play. Heard it here first. And then we head over to the Henry Stadium in Wellington. We got the Warriors at $1.52 against the Dolphins, $2.60.
Warriors in NZ. Warriors.
Yeah, but it's not in Auckland. Is the crowd going to be up as much? They're going to be up in the Wars? Are they going to be going mental?
The Wars will be up.
Yeah, I think they are. I think the Warriors win this one.
And then we're at the... What a weird kickoff time. Is it because it's 4 o'clock on the...
Are we going to be in DYRSL by this point? I think we might be, hopefully.
we're going to be, regardless, the 8:10 kickoff on the Saturday is at Amy Park.
Yep.
With the Storm at $1.63 against the Rabbitohs at $2.28.
Give me the South Sydney Rabbitohs at $2.28. They are winning this game. The Melbourne Storm are getting turned over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that one.
I've gone aggressive on that, and that could backfire big time.
I could end up having no correctives this week.
I know. And then Sunday, the first game on the Sunday, the McDonald Jones Stadium up in Newcastle, the $3.78 Newcastle Knights against the $1.27 Penrith Panthers. It's got to be. Is there any changes? No. Obviously, Mitch Kenny out. Casey McLean's back in. Yeah, Panthers steamroll this one. I reckon they stick 40 on them.
And then to finish off the weekend, the 4:05 kickoff at Foz Pines Park.
Yeah, buddy.
You've got the $1.43 Manly Seagulls against the $2.84 Parramatta Eels.
Oh, this, like, I'm annoyed. Because the Eels performed so well last week. Manly are winning this game. Yeah. They're winning it 13+. Fozzie's going to get an absolute reception when his name's read out pre-game. Boys are going to be pumped. Koula might even get a hat-trick. Saab might even score. Generally reckon we're going to pump 45 on them, and we're going to destroy the Parramatta Eels.
Yeah, I'm going to go Manly as well.
That's good. We touched on this last week to finish off as well. Arsenal appear that they are absolutely...
How was the bottle-o-meter?
It is full, and they are fully rattled as well. Arsenal supporters are fully rattled.
Fully heads gone.
But City play Crystal Palace, I think, either Burnley, either tomorrow or the day after. If they win that, they go top of the league. 5 games to go. I tell you what, Arsenal fans are absolute arseholes. But anyway.
Yeah, and that Champions League semi-final against Athletic is going to be an absolute snore fest as well. Two teams that part the bus.
It's going to be, 180 plus 30, 210 minutes of boring football. It's going to be 0-0, and then we're probably going to end up with like 11-10 penalty shootout or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be a stinker, but... let's see if we're going to end up with egg on our face with some of our tips.
Can't wait.
Next week, we're back at Brookie on Sunday, buzzing for that one. But thank you for tuning in for this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Go on the Dragons.